So with that being said, I'd love to hear a little bit of your testimony, kind of, your upbringing, where you're at now, all the good stuff.
Praise God. I mean, kind words for sure. So I guess starting from the beginning, I was born and raised I'm Slavic. I was born and raised with two Slavic parents that moved here from Ukraine. And there you go. That's where the name comes from. And I was born and raised in a family. I was the youngest of 8. And growing up at an early age, at 13 years old, my mother passed away. And I remember when I was like 10 years old is when she started getting sick. And my mother was like the prayer warrior in the house. She'd always be praying, crying out for us, and, kind of dedicating us to the Lord. And through those 3 years, she started to get sick, slowly unable to walk, slowly unable to talk, slowly unable to, move at all. And then there came a point where my family kind of gathered together and we prayed. And we're like, God, either take her away, like take her home, or heal her. But like she's just living through misery at this point. And
I think it's harder to have a mother that dies a slower death or a sudden death, because you can kind of be there, work things through, talk with her.
Yeah.
Or is it like, do you think it's easier just, okay, there's an accident, she's gone now?
So I was so young, which, 10 years old, I guess most people have businesses at 10 years old. That wasn't me. Me being the youngest, like when I was 10, I was oblivious to life. So I don't think it really didn't hit me what I lost.
Okay.
Until recently, until like the last year, where God was slowly starting to reveal, like, this is what your mother was doing. And it's a really cool testimony, because when my mother passed away when I was 13, that same year I got baptized in the Holy Spirit. And it was up until recently, 10 years later, where God revealed to me, he's like, I took away your protector on earth, but I'm going to fill you with my spirit. And I'm going to basically continue the work that your mother was doing. And it's cool, because I believe the biggest testimony is not what God brought us out of, but it's what he kept us from. And there's so many moments in my life where I should have gone to the extreme. I should have gone, overboard. I should have gone over the edge. And
He's kept us from hell.
Yeah, it was the Spirit of God that gave me just enough conviction to not fully commit to the things I wanted to do. And I didn't realize that was the grace of God, and again, until like this last year.
Wow.
So it's really cool how God protected me when I didn't even know that it was his Spirit.
That's powerful. 13 years old, you lose your mom. What happens?
Start going on with life. So at this moment, my father, who, I love him dearly.
Right.
He's older now. He's like 74. He's kind of dealing with
74.
74.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's dealing with like some health troubles now. But I remember at that moment, he, I guess for lack of a better term, he wasn't really present with us. Not to any fault of his own, the same way that you don't become a great parent when you have kids. Like there's grace for everyone, and he did the best that he knew to do.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like he really wasn't present in our lives. Like we lived in the same house, and I saw him every day, but he wasn't really present, didn't really care for us in a way that, you would imagine a really good father to care for you. So in that brewed in me and started I wanted affirmation from people. I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't realize that it was a negative thing. I didn't realize it was a bad thing. All I knew was.
Well, is it a bad thing? Or was it just
getting
it was like a natural thing?
I believe there's a healthy part of it, like where you have to have friends in your life where you come to them and you're like, hey, you got to tell me not only the truth, but I need you to tell me that, everything's okay, and I need you to pray over me. And that's a necessity. We need to have friends like that, because ultimately we're going to be taking advice, and we're going to be taking critique, and we're going to be taking blessing from somebody. So it's better to have people in your life that actually care about you, rather than just going to everybody that's going to be a yes man.
Oh, interesting. So it's almost like an absence of like a parental figure almost.
Yeah, I had no affirmation. Nobody told me they loved me. I never did enough. I never was good enough. And that image portrayed on God, to where I was like, God, I don't do enough for you. I don't do this. I don't do that. Work harder. Exactly. It's like, you need to do more. And I'm comparing myself to everyone. And it's just a really bad cycle.
Yeah.
But 13, 14, 15, I remember at like 15 years old, I got my driver's license, and I dropped out of high school because I was like, dude, what am I doing here? Like, I'm not. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to use this. So I started working. First job was Burger King and then McDonald's
go.
and then like typical
Double Whopper, bro.
yeah, typical construction stuff, all the things. And I remember I had a dream in my mind where I was like, if I get this car, if I get this money, if I get this, that, then I'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
And time goes by and I'm grinding, from the age 16 to 20. So that 4-year period, I probably had like 40 different cars, motorcycles, trucks, bikes, had a boat, like all the things going in and out, not at the same time, but kind of cycling in and out. And it was cool because I'd get a car, and people would give me the affirmation I was longing for. Where they're like, dang, bro, that's sick. That's cool. I was like known in my church for the guy that always had an interesting car. But after a week, that feeling would like subside. And I was like, okay, I got to get something new so they notice me again. And it was this cycle of like just trying to scratch that itch, chasing that rabbit, trying to get that hit, trying to get that satisfaction of like, okay, I am worth something in this society. And that's the only way I found it. And I didn't even notice it was a wrong thing because I was like, I feel lost and I want people to notice me.
But this is so good. So just for a second, like, how much people do you think in America today grew up in a broken household? Okay, let me define broken. Not just parents are gone, they're alcoholics, they're abusive, but broken in a sense of there's no affirmation. Broken in a sense of where dad and mom are super busy, they're with work, they're angry, they're frustrated. Like I don't want to sissified nothing,
Yeah.
but it is a reality that there are more broken families now than it seems like ever before because people hook up, they have kids, whatever, blah blah blah. It's just like, dude, that's rough.
Yeah, a lot for sure. But the sad reality is, I believe that people don't even know that they live in a broken home.
Well, let me ask you this question then. So you said, now looking back,
Yeah,
I wanted nice cars to have that affirmation in people. What other clues can somebody say? You know what? I think I'm lacking that affirmation in my life. Is there anything else that any other like telltale signs that you had
so
that somebody can ask themselves?
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing was my joy only came from when other people gratified me about what I had.
Okay.
So, like, I have friends now and they have nice cars. But first of all, they don't really drive them that often. But secondly, like, they're happy to just drive them by themselves. Like, they don't care if anyone sees them. They drive their most, for lack of a better term, just their beater with the heater. They drive that around while they have, a Porsche and a nice Audi and a BMW sitting in the garage. And like, bro, this is for me and my wife. Like, I don't really care about showing people off.
Yeah.
Whereas in my heart, as much as I wanted to lie to myself, because ultimately it comes to being honest with yourself. Because we can lie to ourselves all day long. But it comes to being honest with yourself where I would be like, okay, I'm going to take my nice car because I want people to see.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time, in that moment, I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm just taking it because, like, whatever, I don't really care. So I was lying to myself that I didn't care, but in reality, I did. Because when people wouldn't notice it, I would go home and I'd, feel bad.
Well, isn't that also the issue of, like, social media?
For sure.
Because you post something up, you get the affirmation, you're like, man, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, for sure. And
so let me ask you a weird question. Do you think that for a guy, this is like, like a sign for you? Like, can you drive a 1999 Toyota Corolla right now and be okay with it for the next month? Or he would just be too embarrassed?
For sure.
Or is that too much?
No, I mean, in all reality, for sure, it really doesn't matter what you're driving.
Yeah.
I don't even have a car right now, technically. So I'm driving my Lamborghinis and my Chevrolets. That's what I'm kicking off on.
Well, gas is kind of expensive, so it's
exactly
a little cheaper to fill those up.
Yeah, it's cheaper to buy a new sole for your shoe. Get the Dr. Scholl's or whatever they're called.
Let's go. So I'm cracking down on this because it's not like you get older and all of a sudden you're healed.
Yeah.
It's like as you get older, you might even do crazier things or be more depressed because you don't have joy inside and you are not okay to be free of just being who you are, and you always care about people's opinions. And it starts at an age when you don't realize when you're growing up, whether parents absent, whether something happens, and it's important because this stuff not dealt with comes out the side when you get older.
Yeah. And that's the worst part. It usually gets magnified. Like, again, I'm not married or I don't have kids. But like, if you don't deal with these things now, people like to say that like your issues just get magnified in your children,
Yeah,
or it's
sure.
like they will bring it out of you, and then the person you didn't want to become the most, you'll start to become, because
Yeah.
that's just like you haven't dealt with that trauma, that pain.
Exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to get you off track here. So you're growing up, you get in the cars, not feeling satisfied. You're chasing the high, chasing the next
Yeah.
thing to be recognized, I guess, affirmed. What happens?
Yeah, and this is like the big moment. I'm 19 years old, about to turn 20, and it's 12 o'clock at night, random Friday. I have the cars I wanted, have the truck I wanted, have the money in the bank. And I look and the thought comes across my brain where, again, looking back at all of this is like the Holy Spirit just removing his joy, or not his joy, removing his peace from everything I did, because he's like, I have something else for you. So although starting a business may not be bad, although having cool cars may not be bad,
Yeah.
although having money is not bad, and that's a blessing of the Lord, he's like, Dima, I have something else for you, so I'm not going to give you my peace. So no matter what you do, until you follow my plan, my peace will not follow. Again, I didn't know that at the time. This is things that God's like revealing to me now, 3 years into this journey. But now looking back, I was like, that makes so much sense why I was doing the same thing my friends were doing. And they were happy and they were fine and they were like, they full of joy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, because God's like, I have something else for you, and I'm not going to give you my peace until you follow my plan.
So good.
And
so like, I just want to underline this again because that's so good. When you lose, God allows for you to lose the joy in, if you're going out to party somewhere and then you're sitting there at the party, or you're sitting there doing whatever nonsense, and you're like, dude, what am I doing here? That's God saying you don't belong there.
yeah,
You're doing out there, you're like with a group of friends, they're doing a bunch of nonsense, and you're like, what am I doing here? That's God saying, hey, you don't belong there. And I love the fact that you underline that, because that's how God works oftentimes in people's lives. And he's like, dude, you're not going to be happy. And he gives you the grace by seeing that, hey, maybe you don't have the full carrot yet, but don't chase it. It's not worth it.
yeah.
It's such a grace.
It's so good. And it's God's mercy ultimately
Yeah.
that he would withhold peace from you, because he understands what he has better.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that moment, 12 o'clock at night, sitting there looking at my cars. And I'm like, man, if 16-year-old me saw what I had now, he would be so excited and he would feel like the king of the world.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I feel more empty now than I have in my whole life. And I can't imagine that getting more is going to bring fulfillment. It's just going to bring more emptiness. Which, looking back now, I'm like, man, that was definitely the grace of God, because like, not to dog on myself, but like, I'm not smart enough to think and be like, man, but if I just get more, it's not going to bring fulfillment. Like, I couldn't think of that in my human wisdom, because human wisdom is like, you want more happiness, get more bigger things, get more money.
Nicer toys.
Yeah, exactly. So I believe that was like a provision of the Holy Spirit. I walked down the road that night, 12 o'clock at night. I live like in the country, which is pretty cool. And it was probably one of the first times in my life I was honest with God. I was like, God, I don't feel like you're pleased with me. I don't think that you want to do anything in my life. I'm definitely not living up to the expectation that you had for me when you created me.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I'm uneducated. I don't know much. I'm the youngest in my family. I don't have anybody else in my family or in my lineage that I know of. Grandparents, great-grandparents, and my brothers, my sisters, my parents that do full-time ministry. Not even that was a thought. I don't know anyone that's been to Bible school. Like, none of my family's been to Bible school. I was like, God, I don't know what you could do with me. But I'm going to be honest with you. I have nothing left in the tank. And not that I ever wanted to kill myself.
Right.
But I was like, I don't want to be alive.
Yeah. What am I living for?
Yeah, like I'd go to sleep and I'd have my phone just set up on my pillow, like just to put me to sleep, because I wanted to numb the thoughts in my brain, because I didn't want to have to think about the fact that tomorrow awaits me nothing. So I don't even want to go to sleep, because I don't want to wake up tomorrow, because there's nothing awaiting me tomorrow. And it's this cycle of darkness where I'm like, man, is this it? Is this really it? And I remember having that conversation with the Lord and genuinely being like, God, you're not pleased with me. You can't use me. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I feel like I'm a failure. But if you're going to do something, you better do it, because like, I'm done. I have nothing.
Yeah. Wow. That's pro. I'm just thinking of like the Nazis when they were taking over the Jews. They would take them to a camp, and they would say, "Okay, let's dig up these rocks." And the Jews are like, "All right." They're digging, 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 digging. And then the next day, they're like, "Okay, we're actually going to bury these rocks back." And they're burying, burying, burying. And then after like 14 days, one of them just starts losing his mind. And their tactic of torture was, you're going to do work, but there's absolutely zero meaning to it. You're going to dig up a rock, then you're going to dig it back in, and then you're going to pull it back out. And that's what they do. They're like, what are we doing? And they're like, nothing. Your work is meaningless. That's crazy because that's going to drive somebody insane.
Yeah.
And then you're going to bed thinking like, what am I living for? How many people right now are going through that right now? Like, I'm just waking up for what? I don't know.
Silent sufferers. And the biggest lie that the enemy told me that I believed, and I would honestly tell my friends, I'd be like, bro, nobody cares about me. Like, yeah, you feel bad for me in my bad moments, but like, nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have your own life, all this stuff, and nobody cares. So why am I going to open up to you? Like, nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy draws you into isolation. But God's blood covers all, and he has a way of like weaseling us into his plan, whether we even know it or not. And I remember there was 3 months later, again, I say that prayer, 3 months go by. I see now God's provision that there was a job I worked at that had I not been fired from it because I had too much speeding tickets on my record, had I not been fired, this was a really good job, and it probably would have stalled like me coming to GC, going on missions and becoming a staff, and it would have stalled God's plan had I not been fired, because this job was great. We're getting paid good. It's an American company. We're doing work that, like, as labor intensive as it is, our boss was amazing.
Yeah.
He took us out to, gun ranges. He was ex-military. He took us out, bought us food all the time. We had paid time off. We had medical. We had dental. We're getting paid more than, most people working jobs 10 years, and I'm here for like 7 months. And I was like, dude, this job's amazing. Started making money, and, by God's provision, I got a speeding ticket, which sounds funny, but I get a speeding ticket, and
God used your mistakes.
Yeah, God uses my mistakes to where this guy pulls me in the office, and he's like, yo, like, we love having you. We love you here, but our insurance just can't insure you anymore. And the whole reason you're here is because you have a CDL. Now you can't drive for us. So we have no reason to keep you on, but like, I feel bad, but I'm sorry, we have no choice. And I was like, man, it's my mistake. What do you want? I guess, yeah, sorry for the inconvenience for y'all. And that started the cycle of me being at home and kind of working from home and doing my own thing and getting to finally actually think and be like, man, what is the next step? Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And a couple months go by, and my church, my home church, we went to Havila Retreat, which is in Washington. And I went there for the wrong reasons. And there was one worship night where, they're worshiping, and one of our deacons came up, and he's talking about apologetics, just like the proof of the Bible, the historical documents, all the things. And I was like, man, if God's true, like if all this is true,
Yeah.
I feel like, I gotta maybe not take it serious is the right word, but I was like, maybe I should like give it a chance, give it a shot. And I feel something start to stir. I feel like the Spirit's about to speak or something, and we go into prayer and nothing happens. And after prayer, I'm like, okay, God, like, I still feel like you're about to say something, but I don't know what. And I walk outside.
Yeah.
And it's not an audible voice. It's more of like an impression on my spirit, like a thought that came to mind that was of the Lord. And I walk outside, I look at my car, and it's like the thought came to mind where God's like, Dima, I'm giving you a choice. You choose this or you choose me. That simple, nothing crazy, no lightning, no cracks, no like movie scene where, God speaks. Yeah,
open,
no heaven split open.
Gabriel didn't come down.
Yeah. Elijah didn't come down on like a fiery chariot or nothing and cleanse my lips with a burning coal, whatever, But, and then there was that moment where God gave me a choice.
Yeah.
He's like, Dima, you choose me or you choose this. No direction, no understanding, no like spiritual download of like, oh, if I follow him, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? If I followed what I thought is going to bring me joy and it brought me nothing, I have nothing to lose. So might as well go all in on this Jesus guy and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That day I drove like 6 hours to the only church I knew that was open on a Wednesday evening. And I'm praying, and man, I felt the presence of God. for sure. And I still didn't have any direction. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go all in. One day, a couple weeks after that, I know God's calling me to something, but I don't know what. And I just started thinking, I was like, you know what? I don't really know if this is from the Lord. I don't know if this is the direction of God, but I'm going to just go to Bible school. I'm going to go to missionary school. And if I could give anything to the Lord that I can't get back, it's time. So let me give him 4 months, go all in, sell everything, commit to missions, and let me just do this. And if God doesn't move here, then I don't even know what to do. Whatever. I guess I'll come home, start a business or something and just go on with my life.
Yeah.
So I sell everything, sell all my cars. I have one truck left that I used to drive down to Portland and come to missionary school. And I was like, dude, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to go all in. And 4 months goes by, and it's cool because my biggest breakthrough moment happened when one morning chapel.
Let's go.
We're praying, and I think it was you preaching about forgiveness.
Okay.
And God just starts convicting in my heart. He's like, yo, there's this guy in your life. You got to forgive him. And I was like, this guy, old boss, I think he's like, doesn't deserve nothing. He's an absolute, not a nice guy.
Yeah.
Treated us like, not even like human beings. Even at that moment, I was like, dude, this guy, I did not want to forgive him. I did not want to give him nothing. And God keeps convicting me. He's like, bro, you gotta forgive him. Not realizing that the forgiveness isn't for him, but it's for me.
Yeah.
It's so that I could have freedom, because this guy was...
Say that again.
Forgiveness was not for the person.
Yeah.
But it was for me.
So good.
And I'm wrestling with that. And I remember we get into class, and I was like, oh my goodness, bro, I do not want to forgive this guy. I feel like I'm in the right. All the things that everyone says when they don't want to forgive everybody. Nothing new under the sun. Everyone's thought all these thoughts. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. Send them a text, long paragraph, and I'm like, yo, I'm sorry for the way that I acted as an employee. I'm sorry for how I said this, said that, how I treated you. That's one thing I made sure to do. I didn't say, yo, I forgive you for what you did. I asked forgiveness as if I was in the wrong. I was like, sorry for me doing this. Sorry that I did this. Sorry that I did this. Sorry that I brought this energy into the atmosphere. Would you forgive me? And he just texted back. He's like, okay, you're good. But I didn't care about his response because I've tangibly felt like a chain in my heart just got set free. And I was like, wow, that's awesome.
He's like, finally you understand.
Yeah. He's like, bro, I've been telling you this since you were here, finally. And the next day was the first time in my life that I ever got a prophetic word. Not saying this is going to happen to everyone, but it was the first time in my life we were praying at chapel and someone gave me a prophetic word. And I took that as a sign from God of like, okay, you're stepping in the right direction. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was kind of like, yo, God's got his hand on you and like he's going to use you, like the typical prophetic word, and, just build up your faith in him and read the word and pray more, like type of deal.
Yeah.
But for me, it meant a lot because going from nothing, going from feeling like God didn't hear me, didn't listen to me, all these things, God's like speaking to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
It's good.
That's so cool. And that's, the testimony up to that point, right? Like God's been revealing to me and showing and sanctifying and bringing all these things into my life and giving me freedom. But I just really wanted to highlight that the moment I actually received breakthrough was when I humbled myself and asked for forgiveness for somebody that wronged me.
Wow.
And I believe that that's a very valuable lesson.
So good.
Where the Bible calls us to be peacemakers, not peacekeepers. We're the ones that are supposed to go out of our way to make peace with others. And I believe that's a powerful thing where we're like, yeah, I'll forgive them if they come to me. But God's like, no, I didn't ask you to come to heaven for me to save you, but I came down to you.
Yeah.
I washed your feet. I went on the cross for your sins. I bore your shame. So because of that, we're called to do the same.
So good.
So like, I love how God did that in my life where he's like, I'm not going to give you breakthrough until you humble yourself and you ask for forgiveness for this guy that probably did wrong you.
Yeah.
But it's like, who are you? Ain't nothing special about you, brother. Like, you need to humble yourself. And ultimately, all encompassing my testimony is this, that if God can use me, uneducated, grew up on a farm, didn't get past 10th grade, didn't get past 9th grade, even now, 2 + 2 sometimes equals 7. Don't ask me how. And, I didn't read the
It's
Bible.
just not math. Right
Yeah.
now.
I didn't know anything in the Bible. I didn't even start reading the Bible, I'm going to be honest, till I came to GC as a student. And I don't have no lineage of going back and people being in church and serving and all this stuff that sometimes people have. Like, I have none of that. And if God is able to use me,
Okay.
my whole testimony is that he could use anyone.
That's right.
Because there's nothing special about me. So if he can use me and speak through me, he could use you.
Yeah. So good.
That's ultimately my testimony encompassed is just that one thing, and that's like my life mission.
Wow.
If God could use me, he could use anyone. Truly. I came from nothing, and I'm still nothing. But God is able to use me as a microphone to speak his word.